Hello everyone. I'm so sorry that these videos are slow coming right now because I'm in a massive need to get this class put together, so forgive me for that. I hope this finds you all very well. Uh, we're having fun here working on those of you that need it. I'll tell you, there's so many sick people out there, it's staggering, and I'll tell you, my heart goes out to each and every one of you that are suffering, and also for you good healers out there. Don't give up. I mean, this road is tough. It's tough because there's so many ideas out there, there's so many states of consciousness at this level that it can be confusing. So you want to keep your life very simple and keep that road to Wellville very simple, because it is. It might be a bit of a hike because there's some people that are very toxic and one must go slow. I was just overviewing a biochemist who wrote me for some protocols, and the poor thing has just had a ton of chemistry. And you know, as we've been talking about the stem cell here, I have a young woman YouTuber here sitting in with me, and she has been into research, some stem cell research and stuff. And it's funny, this poor biochemist used stem cell on it. It just did nothing but exacerbate her symptoms. And I think really when you take a look at this and you look at people's symptoms, the bottom line, if you just step back and realize whether it's chemical toxicity, neurotoxicity of any type, excitotoxins, heavy metals, you know, however they play their roles and stuff, it doesn't matter. Or microbes, things like this. This is all about culturing mediums and mediums that will not allow detoxification when ingested. So the average person is not moving their lymph system well. So what happens is we're storage dumps. So we store a lot of heavy metals and toxins, and then of course then they put a lot of metals in us. So the bottom line is you have to work yourself out of these levels. And detoxification is always that golden key, no matter which way you turn this pie. The detoxification. Now, I'll say that's true, but this one case last night, and this was a 200-pound tumor on this man in Vietnam. And he actually, by the time the surgeon got to it, this surgeon is giving his time away. He's cutting off major tumors. This guy's one smart cookie. Good surgeon, man. And 300-pound tumor they took off of this man. Unbelievable. I mean, good job. That's what good surgery is about. That's what good medical is about. Not diseases, not that concept, illusionary concept where you're fighting some phantom, something that's trying to hurt you. No, this is real time, and it is pretty neat to see that. Saved that guy's life, and it was like amazing to see that. 300-pound tumor, and I saw one surgery went from the 303-pound ovarian cyst. It takes a lifetime to get him this big. This guy had problems as a baby, and no one was able to detoxify him or understand that in the beginning. And this tumor got 300 pounds, a life on its own. Yucko. All right, guys. I want to carry some of these. This is not going to be a long video because I've got 11 o'clock, but I'm going to get through as much as I can for you. And then I promise you this week we're going to try to catch up with all your questions because you have such beautiful questions, and we really appreciate that. Jennifer was telling me someone on YouTube was writing something about why doesn't Dr. Morris give us the herbs and then pay him back once we sell them? That's for practitioners. And it's like, what? I mean, people don't understand, you know, businesses. Yeah. And we once got into Tree of Life, and Tree of Life is a distributor. I've known those boys since they first started because I had health food stores back in the late 60s, early 70s. And their gig was they wanted God's herbs. And, you know, health food stores back then didn't want God's herbs because it was God on the name, and they thought I was too religious, even though that wasn't even the case. So we couldn't put herbs in health food stores because, again, that reason. So Tree of Life took us on, and we had to give like $50,000 worth of herbs, and then they would pay us when they sold them and everything else. Well, where do you get $50,000 at? I mean, that's what people don't realize. You know, money, it costs us money to have them. And I don't know, it was just such an unreal thought. I couldn't believe someone had that. So thank for those that responded to that in the positive way. I mean, common sense. No one gives you a car unless you drive it for a few years and then determine whether you like it or not, or until you resell it and then pay back originally. I mean, I don't know. You know, some concepts are crazy. Anyway, this is the one question. I don't think this came over YouTube, but this is a man that has atrial fibrillation. And atrial fibrillation, AFib we call it, a lot of people have it. And that means there is an electrical node, it's called the SA node in the right ventricle or atrium, which initiates the electrical spark that depolarizes and opens up the gates, the valves, the tricuspid and the mitral valves, which are just gates between the atriums, which are small, and the larger ventricles. And it's just a process of moving blood from the body to the lungs to get oxygenated and back into the body again. All really the heart is a valve system. The pressure for the pump comes from breathing and kidneys. So it's re-looking at what that's just a gate and valve system. And so, but it is controlled by, and it's just tissue, so it's just cells and fluids. So when the lymph system backs up in the heart, we call it congestive heart failure. When we start to see arrhythmias, whether it's heart blocks or premature beats, ventricular atrials, or AFib, or atrial flutter, or ventricular flutter, oh my God. But some of these things, of course, are electrical. And there's two things that impact the electrical system of the body, parathyroid and adrenal glands. Calcium utilization problems and adrenal neurotransmitters are the two most common. On the way to the heart, in the heart, the lymph system can suppress neural transmissions. Obviously, you see that when your back gets stiff and tight, and then you get numbness in your hands. That's lymph. Pressure, edema, all of this can suppress nerve function, and hopefully not, but can suppress blood flow. So this is why you see the blood vessels in the lymph designed the way they are, and the lymph are in the nervous system, but they get your nervous system. I've had that where I got so tight with stress that my fingers would get numb, and it's just all back there, baby. And you just have to move that lymph and stuff. But the AFib sort of thing. Now the question is, after Dad is on the formula for a while and he cardioverts back from AFib to natural sinus rhythm, does he stay on the herbs? Yeah, if he can do that. Generally, I've not seen a cardioversion that quick, because generally it's a chronic issue. By the time you get atrial fibrillation, and you really have to, I tell you where I've seen atrial fibrillation. I had a guy working in my gardens one time, and he was a little young kid, real go-getter. He went out drinking one night and got drunk. Well, he got tased by the cops, except cops don't think. So they tased him right on the spine. You don't tase somebody on the spine. I mean, these guys are insane. And so it threw him into atrial fibrillation. He had to go get cardioverted. And that's deadly. He could have died from that. And that's the thing with tasing. You tase somebody, they die, go to jail. Listen, Lewis, I want to thank you for that. I'm going to look this video up, because this Lewis 04191 sent me a heads up on a video, proven cancer cure versus corruption in the United States government. Pooh, the United States government isn't corrupt. Well, what are you thinking, Lewis? This is a bunch of most corrupt people. People don't realize the government and what's happening here. It's sad. I mean, this government stinks bad. I'm going to look that up. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate you looking at that. A lot of corruption there. And when it comes to chemo and radiation, just like you were saying, Lewis, on the video, it says, radiation and chemicals, they're all carcinogenic. Well, tamoxifen is carcinogenic. The very thing they give ladies to suppress estrogen is carcinogenic. Lupron, I'm sure, is carcinogenic. I mean, all these things are carcinogenic. And it's like, holy crap. You can't suppress any function of the body to gain a symptom-free situation. And that's what's happening a lot. There's so much. Thanks for the mucus or worms, whatever that ends up being. That's pretty good. You see that? Yeah. I've already been back from hell after my lymph cancer. I bet, man. Holy crap. Diagnosed in 2010, on its merry way to remission. Whoo! Get that out of you, bro. Get that crap out of you. This is my last symptom. And again, that lymph, move that lymph. Get all these acids out of the body and let the body return its tissue to the healthy state. Degeneration, the letter which I refused to replace in the early 20s, implant surgery, from now I'm blind in one eye. Oh man, okay, so this guy's got blind in one eye, no lens correction possible, hence leaving room for otherwise natural cell regeneration. And that's what I was thinking about when I was reading this. You've got to go to natural cell regeneration because you and I have talked a little bit about stem cell. And I was reading this biochemist situation. She's in a mess, the poor thing. You know, in biochemistry, she's been subjected to everything under the sun, so she's got a body that really, and her eyes bear it out. She really's got bad toxicity. So she's got some work to back up, and this guy too. I would use eye wash up and lower, topically and internally. Get an eye. We have a Visioplex, which is a it's got a lot of eye herbs like bilberry and things like that, of course, like the eye wash, but it also has raw eye tissue. And I would really turn on those cells, or at least the magnetics are there to maybe grab into that blueprint, that etheric blueprint, just like you're saying, looking for natural regeneration, because that is the highest. To get good natural regeneration on a lens or something that's almost gone, is something you want. It got to be 100% raw, nothing cooked whatsoever. If you want that high level regeneration, you got to get away from everything cooked. That's the issue with that. So still pretty much at square one on that daily energy, robbing from through, having the BP through many different angles. I've considered any arrangement. So I'll have to read this a little more and look at this picture more, but you're getting some nasty stuff out, that's for sure. I just kind of wanted to go through these kind of quickly. Let me see. This is Greg. Dr. Morse, I'll just tell you, no matter how long the video... Oh, thanks, Greg. Appreciate it, buddy. Well, you know, some people complained about too long of videos, but when I get a chance to do a video, I don't have the time. I'm rushing because I'm so busy. It's trying to get to you all, so I apologize. I'm just hoping there's enough videos here that you'll find your problem in them. If not, you call and we get you going here. Thomas, hey Thomas. Just a few quick questions. I've been looking at the company standard process, and I noticed that they have 3 different types of glandular products. Standard process, we still use some of their issues, but I'll tell you, they do not use organic glandulars, and that's a slap in the face. Standard process, when they started and approached me back in the early 70s, they had their own farms, everything was organic, even the vegetables they used were grown. Far cry from that. I don't know how companies like that get away from that sort of thing. That should be their pride, their stamp. You know, I mean, I feel our herbs are our stamp of pride, because you put that out there and you put the name God on there. You want the best. You want to offer the people the best you can, because that's their life you're holding and working in your hands. You know. So I don't know what to say, Thomas, about that. Companies like that, in my opinion, they're going to have to really change and get back on this. What happens when a company gets too busy, too big, and decide to cut corners? This is what happened to the Chomper guy. He was at our class here. Where's his book here? But he does a lot with the bow, the rise and shine guy, and you know, he got too big and used commercial herbs and found a bad herb from China, and he had some serious problems with the FDA and everything, and the poor guy, felt sorry for him. I don't buy anything like that. I don't buy any commercial nothing. I want to know all the farmers. I want to know everybody. I've noticed they have glandulars for the kidneys. I wonder. I think a glandular for the kidneys would be very good. I don't use them so much, and I should. People bitch at me for glandulars already, but boy, I tell you, some of you guys, especially the younger you are going to need a little kidney hit, I'll tell you, to wake up these kidneys. And I like glandulars better than what we see in stem cell right now. I just, you've got that, what you were saying about that old consciousness coming into that cell, still has its genetics programmed in the cell. You've got to go to the blueprint, which is an energetic or consciousness upliftment. Can't use the same old cells. Yeah. And it's the same thing in genetics. Looking down the family tree, come on. I mean, these are a given. So we have to go beyond the consciousness of the current cell patterns in the human body. Well, how do you do that? This is in the world of physics now. You've got to leave that and understand some spiritualities. That's what we're going to do at the class. Talk about creation a little bit to get that understanding. This is a chemical world, but this is the most chemical world of all creation, for sure. and the difference between that and the next world, which is more magnetic. Also, someone who has a budget and wants to buy bulk herbs cheaply, could you recommend like 2 to 3? Yeah, if you're going to buy, cleavers is good, no question. That's kidneys, of course. If you're going to buy 3 or 4 herbs, oh my God, I was talking to Yaz in Thailand. That's what he's doing, buying bulk herbs. Remember we were talking to him the other day. He's buying bulk herbs, and I mean, he's getting them out there, you know. So there's all kinds. It depends what direction you want to go in. Because Gotu Kola and skullcap for the nervous system, my favorites. There's so many kidney herbs, from cleavers to pepipsawa to, corn silk. These are, you know, some of them are a little more diuretics, but there's an awful lot of great herbs. Gravel root, I mean, you can go on and on and on. They're just, I love them. That's why we have 4 kidney formulas, because there's so many great nettles. There's just so many great kidney herbs. But then you get into adaptogens, and then you get into astragalus, and you get into the antlers. I mean, it just depends where you're working. I say I think a detox first before I would go into like the antlers and the adaptogens, or the cell proliferators, the strengtheners, you know, that sort of thing. And really get my body cleaned out. Not that you can't do both, especially for those that are quads or paraplegics who are digging in and hitting that nerve system on top of that. But 2 or 3 herbs like that, boy, someone asked me about if I went to an island, you know, what herbs would I take? And it's like, oh my God, I love them all. You know, I don't know what to say, because we've seen lymphatic formulas work well, but without the poke, the blood, the chaparral, they don't work near as well. And I love the poke root, the chaparral. But you know, again, the FDA doesn't like herbs that work. So I don't know what to say. You know, those are all good. Golden seal, of course, the heal-all herb of all, that and comfrey. I love both of those. Very powerful healing herbs, of course. Golden seal has so many different things, but very expensive now. But still, the golden seal herb is an incredible herb. I love that one. Boy, really hard to knock it down to 2 or 3 bulk herbs. I'd say play with them. Try a group of 5 or 6, and then order another group of 5 or 6. Play with them and taste them, and get a sense of what it's about. You know, man's gotten so machine mechanical, they didn't realize the best way to taste an herb is taste it. You'll know whether it's strong or not. Smell it, bruise it, you know, drink it, taste it, eat it. You know, play with it that way, and just get, oh yeah, and learn that herb, and then bring another one in and do the same thing. Pretty soon you got a good repertoire of herbs. Start with 25 and get 25 of the better herbs. I used to have a list of 25 herbs I recommend my students study, and then 25 more. Then 25 more, and use them and get used to them. If you look at the herbs that we've used on our formulas, I'll tell you, I've used most of these herbs, most of them, not all of them, but most of them for a lot of years, and very familiar with them. And so you might just see what herbs I use in the bottles and play with them that way. Lastly, I was wondering if someone has underdevelopment due to weak glands and low hormones and neurotransmitters, and it is past puberty, will the body rebalance itself and develop when the glands become healthy again? Absolutely. Now, we don't know. I mean, in children that are not growing well and they're short, when we go into that pituitary, which is the growth hormones, they start catching up. And we've had many here we've done lately that are undersized, and they start growing when we get the glands in shape. Now, an adult, I haven't seen that yet. I have not seen that in terms of, let's take a 5-foot woman. A 5-foot woman, you're going to normally, or male, or 5'1", 5'2", or 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", you're going to look at the pituitary gland. You're always going to look at that pituitary gland and go into that and work at that. Because they're going to have other pituitary-related problems. Female menses problems, could be vitiligo problems. I mean, there's just a multitude of problems there. And remember, some of the pituitary, or the thyroid and parathyroid problems can be pituitary problems. Yep. Yeah, short due to a lack of growth hormone during their youth. Absolutely, man. You're right on. You guys are really smart, and that's what too. If we can lay out the basics, and then you use your common sense and you think, and you use the mind to compare, relate to, you know, rationale, relationships, all that sort of thing, you'll get it. Yeah, this guy's really good. I really like his thinking here. Growth plates have fused with the body still grow to meet its genetic blueprint. Now let's see here, during their youth, but they're now in their late 20s, early 30s, and their growth plates have fused. Will the body still grow to meet its genetic blueprint? You have to see. You know, you just have to see in the 20s and 30-year-olds. I know up to 15, 16, 17 they grow. So I don't know about the 20s or 30s. It's sure interesting to go that way, though, and to work on that and see. I'd love, see, with all of you guys on board, boy, are we going to have more information, more actuality, more facts by people doing it. This could be a huge discovery program from all you're doing. I think every one of you that are working your body and regenerating that body is responsible for wakening this world up. Remember, it takes all of you. And I know some of you are struggling hard. Don't give up. Fight for that. Because this is a very mundane, a very chemical universe. And everything on this planet and in man right now is out of balance. We have to spiritualize ourselves, which is what's going on. Meaning that we have to learn how to give love instead of hate, you know, and things like that. And appreciate the Creator, because, my God, when you see the beauty of everything, even the human body, it's staggering. But always keep it simple. Thanks for all you do, man. Thank you so much, Thomas Shaw. Thank you. This is Heather. The question is about menopause. She turned 50 years old in November and suspect I'm going through menopause. However, I don't have a lot of the symptoms that most women complain about. Yeah. Well, why? When you see the endocrine glands down, you're going to see the symptoms. When you see pituitary down, your women are going to have tough menopausal issues, and also with the thyroid, hot flashes, you're going to see that. Not everyone has those weaknesses. So we, you know, sometimes we see a symptom in a female like menopause and hot flashes, and we suspect that they should be going through that. That's their lot. Kind of like monthly cycles and periods. Well, they should go through that. Every woman does. How interesting is that when you clean the body, and you get the uterus healthy and all the glands are healthy, that a woman just barely spots in her monthly cycle because she's clean. She doesn't have any cleaning to go through. She's already clean. So, I mean, there's so much. And there's a lot of the old greats that used to think, you know, at these high levels, immaculate conception. Who knows? I mean, when you study Jesus, you study the other 4 Gospels or whatever, or 22 Gospels, and you look at the Essenes, what we found in the Dead Seas, and you look at the agnostics, these are all foodists, a lot of them, and it's like they're just what's going on right now. Just history is always cyclic. Look at that. You know, history repeats itself over and over. This universe is finished. It's created already. So it'll be interesting to see their take on immaculate conception and the high vibrational rate of a fruitarian or a raw foodist, you know, and just what takes place at those. Man's so down in the cell that it'll take him generations before he could even think about anything like that. But it's out there with some of these greats, raw foodists, you know, their thinking is out there for some people. My complaint is fatigue, being too emotional, cramps. Okay, so take it right off. My complaint is fatigue. First off, adrenal glands. Always look at the adrenal glands for fatigue. Always, always, always. So get your adrenals up. Always work on your adrenal glands. I don't know of anybody that you could say I have healthy adrenals. Being too emotional. There's your connection to the adrenal glands right there. That's the emotional body. Cramps. Now, that might take us up to the parathyroid gland there and the lack of utilization of calcium and too acidic. Those two things. Anxiety, we're right back to the adrenal glands. Doom and irregular bleeding, spotting. We're up to the pituitary. Irregular menses, irregular bleeding. That's controlled by the pituitary. So what we see here now is we got a little parathyroid going. We got a little pituitary going. Now the pituitary could be the one suppressing the parathyroid, and of course the adrenals, which are generally weak in all of us, but also can be suppressed by the pituitary. So absolutely. So no HRT for me. What can I do to help? Get into your adrenal glands. Heather from Utah. Get into the adrenal glands. Get your kidney. Start moving your lymph. I do a little, I would probably do a pituitary glandular, 1 to 2 bottles, 3 times a day maybe, and then stop that one. And then maybe do the parathyroid glandular, add kelp, where you got all the iodine and calcium, and go down that road a little bit while you're still working on your adrenal glands, sweetheart. And move that lymph, Heather. Thanks, sweetheart. Brad, when your tonsils are removed, then what do you drain? Where where do you drain that lymph? Good question, Brad. I'm telling you, that's a good question. I've seen a lot of people grow their tonsils back. Remember we talked about someone growing their tonsils back for the third time? That was amazing. That power to heal is pretty cool, you know. So I don't know what to say, and I don't know what all areas the tonsils are septic tanks for. But you always see without tonsils sinus problems, all types of problems in the head area. You see it with them, but without them even more so. And I don't know, you know, it's something you'd be neat to correlate without tonsils, all the eyes. Go take thousands of eyes, look at without tonsils and with tonsils, and see if you can come up with something, because it would be interesting to see. I don't know what all tissues around the neck flow into the tonsils and adenoids, but definitely the sinuses and part of the brain, I'm sure. This is Sherry 103T. Hi, Dr. Morse. I am doing too well. I am a 46-year-old woman with 2 kids. I am on kidney and bladder 1 and 2. Oh, wow, it's kicking butt here. I have told you before that I have hep C and pain in enlarged liver and kidney was hurting. But now, all of a sudden, my face broke out and I have a rash on my face and it is swollen. When you guys do that or see that, you got one of two things. Either you've got a anaphylactic shock to something, which means your throat will get scratchy and close off, and that's a serious thing. And that's where you want to look for some Benadryl, or you want to cut back and start doing some juices and get that opened up. Or you're in a big detox, and this can be a big detox symptom. Rash on the face, but it just goes to show, I mean, you're kicking it up there, sweetheart, but in doing that, it's exploding out. I think when we see these things explode out, the bottom line is that they are so impacted lymphatically, it's going to be a process to get there, so hang on. It takes a while to get up here to drain through the kidneys, that's all I can tell you. And so hang on there. Maybe go a little slower on the lymphatic formulas. Maybe put yourself on a lemon juice fast or a grape fast here a little bit. My eyelids and face and lips are itchy, swollen, and burning. Sounds like you had something your body doesn't like there, sweetheart. Now, if that's the case, is you want a muscle test. Muscle test. There's a video on muscle testing. I would say when something like this happens, call in here. But muscle test each one of these herbs, because there was a lady once that was allergic to my circulation formula, and it was a tree bark that we had in there, and she was allergic to that tree. I was still trying to remember which one that was, and so I had to take her off of that. So don't know, you know, but it does show lymph, either irregardless, because none of these formulas would have that effect unless your lymph system was real backed up and you had real weak adrenal glands. So I'd go back and go real slow and muscle test each one of these formulas and make sure one of them is not too strong for you or something your body doesn't want right now. And that's why getting used to muscle testing is good. After a while, I've said you don't have to muscle test. Use your sense of energy. Feel energy. Matter of fact, you might want to play with energy. You know, there's a technique a good friend of mine uses about playing with balls of energy and feeling that ball of energy in your hand and playing with that ball of energy, and get used to getting your senses a little more outside yourself and being more perceptive to things other than yourself. And even though that's impossible at one level, so just saying, but not something you want to do. Do I need to back off the herbs and add something else? I would. I would. I'd slow down a little bit there, dear. I don't know how to get to you any quicker. I look bad and very uncomfortable. I have been looking online for oils or natural ways to help my face rash, but everything I have tried has not helped. You could be in a healing crisis too. Your body could have just broke forth and out you went. So slow back up on those herbs. Go slow. Go half a dosage. Put yourself on a little fruit fast for sure. I came across with the same kind of rash I have, and it was about lupus. Well, it's just acids coming out of you. You can call it whatever, but it's just your lymph system coming out of you, sweetheart, and that scared me even more. Don't be scared about that. I know my body needs lots of healing. It seems like everyone I turn around, there is something else wrong with my body. Well, that does bring up in that comment, it's suggesting that her lymph system is really bad. Because remember, you are going to see systemic problems, multiple systemic problems. I'm out of time. Something over here, something over here. Maybe it's the ovaries 1 minute, maybe it's the lungs another, maybe it's the heart another, maybe it's the brain another. Because this is a systemic problem. This problem, this when people get cancer, say, oh, my cancer's moved to my lungs, my cancer's moved to my liver now it's in my bones. Huh. I have news for you. By the time you see cancer in one place, your lymph system's backed up head to toe. And your problem is everywhere. And that's what people don't get. They look at it as a disease and, oh, look, I have a problem. I've got liver cancer. Oh, no, you're backed up in the bowels. You're backed up all the way in the head, the pancreas. And that's why we see the hot spots. And that's why we see, oh, look, it moved on you. It didn't move. It was already burning on you. It takes a while to break down a cell and make it a cancer cell, unless you have a raging bull in there, which is possible. So that's what I see in you, sweetheart. I don't know how to get a hold of her any quicker. I have been eating lots of watermelon and grapes and recently got a hold of some champagne mango. Oh, those champagne mangoes. I love those champagne mangoes, which is awesome. I do slip up and eat bad sometimes. Well, we all do, honey. Don't worry about it. But I'll say this. You might have to do a little diet. Check the herbs. Muscle test. Get someone to muscle test you. Remember the muscle testing video. And muscle test those herbs and to see. Because it sounds like you got something there your body just didn't want right now. And just set it to the side. Look at the lymphatic ones, but it could be any of them. It could be a liver gallbladder herbs. It could be that. So, let's see, lymphatic 1 and 3. Check number 3. Lymphatic 3, real strong formula. And just see if that one of those are the problems. In the past, I've had a few surgeries. I've had my ovaries taken out along with my uterus. You see, she was bleeding a lot. Okay, here's a pituitary thing. But again, when we say here's a pituitary thing or here's a thyroid thing, we have to understand that we're talking about a bunch of cells that perform for you and that produce for you different hormones and steroids and neurotransmitters and the like to make things happen for you in conjunction with your desires and your mind. And I mean, this is all hooked together. And so you have to understand, by the time you see your body in trouble, it's in trouble all through itself. And that's why you can't just treat, you can't just go to one tissue and say, I'll go after my kidneys or I'll go after my adrenal glands. No, this is a systemic problem. That's why detox is vital to understand, because head to toe, you got to clean your body head to toe. Get your adrenals up. You'll see more allergies and more problems when the adrenals are down. Low corticosteroids, etc., etc., etc. Low immune responses. We need to take them all out. I also had my gallbladder removed. Holy crap. Well, see what I'm saying, what I mean? This poor lady, sweetheart, Sherry, you've got a lot of lymph everywhere. And this is what you're seeing. You're seeing ovaries here, gallbladder here. Next time it'll be here. Now it's the face. That could be, again, it could be that your body doesn't want one of these herbs. You got a lot of symptoms like that. But that still tells you that your lymph system's a mess. That's what allergies and autoimmune responses like that would be. So this is the best thing to do. Oh, the doctors told him it'd always be the best thing to do to remove all these things. I always put my trust in the doctors because I thought they knew what they were doing. But now I look back and know better. Yeah, you know that your lymph system's a mess. You got to get it. Kidneys and adrenals. Kidneys and adrenals. Go after those, honey. And then also pick up a little pituitary there as well. Or female reproductive formula, one of the two. That's a good progesterone pituitary formula. It'll most about the money. Most times they don't know what's going on. Because if you don't understand the lymph system, sweetheart, like these medical doctors don't, you're not going in. Here's her eyes. The doctors had him on so many pills. Oh, my God. What can I do about my face and eyelid lash? Cut back on the herbs. Focus on kidney herbs, adrenal herbs. This is a blue eye I'm looking at. Let me show you guys her picture. What do you think? Blue eyes. See around the bow. See the chronicness around the bow there, the brown around her pupil. And that could be orange. This picture could be a little off. This is a left eye, so here's kidneys, here's rectal wall, here's groin, here's ovary. That's where they took it out. Still got a lot of iodine stuck in that ovarian tissue area there. Here we've got a little bladder going on. We have a little lower back to mid back, and then we've got parathyroid, sweetheart. Matter of fact, one of your blood vessels are really open there at the thyroid, parathyroid levels. You really got to clean. Little throat going on, you got to clean that. You got good genes, though. You got to clean your lungs and bronchial trunk. Pituitary shows up here big time. So move your lymph. You want a blue eye. Right now, it's hazel looking. And that shows how much lymph is involved there, sweetheart. Golden champagne mangoes. Read them and weep, baby. Read them and weep. Yas, don't look at this because you don't need to know. You already got all this down there. Read them and weep, baby. Golden mangoes. Absolutely. What'd you buy? A case of them? Holy crap. That's what I buy them. And I have a few left on my kitchen sink. I was so busy trying to get all these reports out today, I couldn't even get to them. God, there's so many good questions here, guys. Hang in there. I plan to do several hours this week before the class, so hang in there. Right now, I'm going to go. I've got a client waiting, and so I hope to get back with you soon. And just bear with me. Hang in there, guys. Hang in there. Get to the Facebooks where some of these good practitioners there can help you if they know, and just keep working it, and we'll be back with them. All right? So, love you guys. Have a great, great fun day, and I'll try to get back today if we can. If we get, hopefully, I mean, I generally don't hope for cancellations, but with them, I want to get them going down the road. There's a lot of real important questions in here to answer, and so I want to catch up on them. So, thank you all, and love you guys. Hang in there. Keep it straight, keep it real, keep it honest. Keep your humility. Keep your humility. Always be humble and love all life, because you have everything you need. Just be aware of that. You are everything you ever need. And once you realize that, and you realize who you really are, then the humility will be there. Love you.